Your biggest problem is not that you do not have enough time. Your biggest problem is that your focus is scattered. Think about it. The whole day slips by, and by the end of it, you are left wondering what you actually got done. You were busy, but not productive. You worked, but not on what truly mattered. And that difference can either build your life or quietly ruin it. The real issue is not time management, it is attention management. Here's a simple truth. Your life moves in the direction of your attention. If your attention is fixed on distractions, your life will feel scattered. If your attention is fixed on comparison, your life will fill with dissatisfaction. If your attention is fixed on fear, your life will fill with hesitation. The meaning is clear. You become what you focus on. But here's the real problem. You do not consciously choose what deserves your focus. Your phone chooses for you. Notifications choose for you. Other people choose for you. And you simply drift wherever the current takes you. So ask yourself this. If you cannot control your attention, can you really control your life? That's where the problem begins. You tell yourself you'll scroll for just a minute, but that minute slowly turns into hours. You tell yourself it's just one more video, and then it becomes a pattern. Your mind has been trained to chase easy dopamine and avoid hard work. Now think about this. The things that make you feel good instantly often push you backward in the long run, and the things that feel difficult right now are usually the ones that move you forward. But what does your brain choose? Easy, fast, instant. And that's exactly what keeps you average. There's something deeper to understand here. You do not have unlimited energy. Every day your focus is limited. So what are you doing with it? Spending it on random things, watching someone else's story, comparing your life to theirs, scrolling for no reason at all. Then, when the real work finally shows up, you say you can't concentrate. But of course you can't. You've already wasted your mental energy. Now imagine something different. Imagine waking up in the morning and directing your focus toward just 2 or 3 truly important things. No phone, no distractions, no comparison. What would happen? You would do less, but you would do the right things. And that's what changes a life. There's another dangerous habit. You treat everything as important. Every message feels urgent. Every notification feels critical. Every task feels like it has to be done right now. But that's not reality. Not everything matters. Some things are just noise. And the problem is that you can't tell the difference between noise and signal. That's what destroys your focus. So make one powerful shift. Before doing anything, ask yourself one question. Does this really matter, or do I just want to feel busy? That single question can eliminate half your distractions. Because the truth is, you don't need to do more. You need to do what matters. Here's another truth. You think multitasking makes you smart, but science says the opposite. Multitasking breaks your focus and lowers your productivity. In other words, you're not really doing one thing well, you're just doing many things badly and leaving them unfinished. Reflectively, by the end of the day, you feel frustrated. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine doing one thing at a time with your full attention. What happens then? You finish faster, you do it better, and you feel satisfied. That's deep work. And in today's world, it's a rare skill. Everyone is distracted. The people who stay focused are the ones who move ahead. Understand this clearly. You do not need to get ahead of the whole world. You only need to get ahead of your distractions. And the day you do that, your growth becomes unstoppable. But there's something most people never understand. They think they just need more focus. The truth is, before you can build focus, you have to remove distractions. Focus is not a superpower. Focus is the result of an environment with less noise. So be honest with yourself. How many times do you check your phone while working? How many times do you unlock your screen for no reason? How many times do you break your own concentration and then blame yourself for having weak focus? Your focus is not weak. Your environment is weak. You're trying to work in a world designed to distract you. Notifications, social media, random thoughts, constant interruptions, and still you expect yourself to slip into deep focus. That's not realistic. So follow one simple rule. Anything that breaks your focus needs to be moved away from you. During work, don't just silence your phone. Put it away. Don't just mute notifications. Remove the unnecessary apps altogether. Because change doesn't come from willpower. It comes from systems. Here's another deeper truth. Your mind can't sit still in emptiness. If you don't give it direction, it will find distractions on its own. That's why focus is not just about saying no. Focus is about saying yes to one thing. Reflectively, think about how most people live. A little skill here, a little knowledge there, a little interest somewhere else, but nothing becomes solid. Nothing becomes deep, because they never go deep. And in today's world, depth is what creates value. The person who goes deep in one thing stands out. That person moves ahead. Everyone else becomes part of the background noise. Curiously, ask yourself honestly, do you want depth or do you want distraction? You cannot have both. There's another problem. You get bored too quickly. The moment the work becomes difficult, you start looking for something easier. And that's where you lose the game.
Because real growth always begins after boredom. It begins when you are uncomfortable, when you are struggling, when your mind wants to escape, but you stay anyway. That is the point where your level starts to change. But what do you usually do? The moment boredom appears, you pick up your phone and hand yourself another distraction. And that is why you stay exactly where you are. Now imagine you changed that habit. Imagine that even in moments of boredom, you held your ground. What would happen? Slowly, you would train yourself for deep work, for longer focus, for real growth. There's another powerful idea. Every morning, you wake up, but you are not clear on what actually needs to be done that day. So, naturally, you waste time on random things. That is why clear priorities create focus. If you know that only 2 things truly matter today, your mind moves in that direction. But if everything feels important, then nothing is important. So make this a rule. Every day, choose just 2 or 3 tasks that will move your life forward. Softer, everything else is optional. It sounds simple, but this is where the biggest difference is made. By now, you can probably see the pattern. Focus is not a trick, it is a lifestyle. It is a decision you have to make every day. And the day you begin taking that decision seriously, your direction becomes clear. And when direction becomes clear, speed takes care of itself. But here's another uncomfortable truth. You do not lack clarity because life is confusing. You lack clarity because you are not being honest with yourself. You say you want to do something, but deep down you know you're avoiding it. You set goals, but you don't take action. You make plans, but you don't follow through. Then you blame time, luck, or circumstances. But what's the real reason? You still haven't decided what actually matters to you. Clarity does not come from outside. It comes from within. It comes when you ask yourself questions that are hard to answer. If I had only 1 year left, what would I focus on? If I could learn only one skill, what would it be? If I had to let go of everything else and commit to one thing, what would I choose? These are not easy questions, but they are the questions that give you direction. There's another mistake people make. They chase results, money, success, recognition, but they ignore the process. And that is why they feel stuck. Results are not fully in your control. The process is. If you follow the right process every day, the results will come. Softer, but if you keep obsessing over results alone, all you'll find is frustration. So make another shift. Stop focusing on results, focus on process. Are you doing 2 hours of deep work every day or not? Are you protecting yourself from distractions or not? Are you finishing your priority tasks or not? Watch those things, and slowly your life will begin to change on its own. There's another hidden enemy: comparison. Every day, you compare yourself to someone, their success, their lifestyle, their progress, and then your focus shifts. You step away from your own path because you've entered someone else's race. But the truth is simple. Everyone has a different timeline. Everyone has a different path. If your focus stays on other people, you'll never be able to focus on yourself. And that is what stops your growth. Now imagine letting go of comparison and giving your full attention to your own work. What would happen? You would grow faster. You would feel more stable. You would feel more satisfied. Because now you would finally be running your own race. There's something else to understand. Your mind is always thinking about something: the past, the future, what if, and you get lost inside it all. But real power exists in the present. When you do one thing with full awareness, your efficiency rises. You think better, you perform better. But what do most people do? While working, they think about the future. While resting, they think about the past. And in both cases, they lose the present. So follow this rule. When you work, just work. When you rest, rest without guilt. That balance multiplies your focus. Now the picture becomes even clearer. Focus is not just skill. It's a discipline. It's a habit. It's an identity. And the day you begin to see yourself as a focused person, your decisions start to change. You begin avoiding distractions automatically. You start taking your priorities seriously. You stop wasting time. Because now you're different. And that's the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary. But here's something most people ignore. You want to focus, but your mind keeps wandering into thoughts, into worries, into random ideas. And then you ask yourself why your mind feels impossible to control. The truth is, your mind is not the problem. Your training is incomplete. You never trained your mind. You just left it unattended, free to think whatever it wanted, wherever it wanted. And now you expect it to become disciplined on command. That's not how it works. Think of it like this. If you leave a dog untrained, it runs towards every sound and reacts to everything. But if you train it, that same dog becomes steady and controlled. Your mind works the same way. An untrained mind becomes distraction. A trained mind becomes focus. So the real question is, how do you train it? The answer is awareness. The moment your attention drifts, catch it. Tell yourself, not now, and return to the task. In the beginning, this will happen again and again. Your attention may wander 100 times, but every time you bring it back, your mind learns where to stay. That is the practice that changes you. Here's another important point. Focus does not mean working long hours. Focus means doing deep work in a short amount of time. You can work 8 hours and still stay average. Someone else can work 3 hours and produce exceptional results.
What makes the difference? Depth. Imagine working for 1 hour with your phone away, the door closed, and your attention fully concentrated. That single hour can equal 3 or 4 ordinary hours. That is smart work. That is focused work. There is also a hidden trap called perfection. You think everything has to be perfect, and because of that, you either never begin or you move too slowly. But perfection kills focus. It keeps you thinking instead of acting. So from now on, do not focus on perfection. Focus on progress. Do a little, but do it every day. Do it imperfectly, but complete it. That is how momentum is built. There is another powerful realization. Your environment can either support your focus or completely destroy it. If you're surrounded by people who are not serious, who are distracted, who waste time, you'll slowly become the same. Environment influences you silently. So examine your circle. Examine the place where you work. Is it helping you grow, or is it constantly distracting you? If the answer is unclear, then something needs to change. Focus does not come only from within. It's also built from what surrounds you. There is another mistake people make. They treat everything as urgent. But urgent and important are not the same. Urgent is what demands your attention right now. Important is what actually changes your life. And the problem is that most people get trapped in the urgent while postponing the important. That is why they stay busy without ever truly growing. So make one simple shift. Do the important work first every day, then deal with the rest. And if there is no time left afterward, that's still fine, because you already finished what mattered most. By now, it should be obvious. Focus is not one technique. It's the combined result of many small habits that quietly reshape your life. And when you start taking those habits seriously, it's not just your productivity that changes, your identity changes. But there's one final layer, and it may be the most powerful of all. You want to focus, but deep inside, you're not clear on why you're doing any of this. You work, but you don't feel connected to the reason behind it. And without that connection, consistency disappears. That's why you stay motivated for a few days, then slowly drift back into old patterns. You don't have a strong enough reason. So ask yourself one honest question. Why are you doing what you're doing? For money? For respect? For freedom? Or just because everyone else is doing it too? If your reason is weak, your focus will be weak. But if your reason is clear, distractions begin to lose their power, because now you understand what you can't afford to lose. Imagine having a clear goal and knowing that every distraction pulls you farther away from it. Would you still waste your time so easily? No. Because now every distraction feels expensive. That awareness strengthens focus. There is another deep truth. You don't have to give up everything. You just have to change your priorities. You can still enjoy life. You can still use social media. You can still spend time with friends. The difference is that those things no longer control your life. You control them. That's balance. Here's another mistake. You think you'll focus when you feel like it. But your mood is never stable. If you work only when the mood is right, you'll never be consistent. So from now on, follow a system, not your mood. Whether you feel like it or not, do the work. Because discipline can do what motivation never could. And over time, your mind begins to understand that this is serious. It's not a game. That's when resistance starts to weaken. Now make one more shift. Until now, you may have believed that you simply needed to avoid distractions. But the real goal is to become stronger than them. Because distractions will always exist. That's the kind of world we live in. Some people become their slaves, while others remain focused in the middle of the noise. Imagine becoming someone who can work even in chaos. Someone who stays clear in the middle of noise. Someone who remains steady under pressure. Who could stop you then? No one. Because now your control is not outside you. It's within you. And that's real power. There is one final realization. You don't need to do everything. You only need to do the right things consistently. Small actions repeated every day slowly take you where you want to go, and one day you look back and realize how much you have changed without even noticing it. That's real growth. Silent, steady, powerful. And now you're standing at a point where you need to make one decision. Will you stay the way you are, or will you start living with focus? Because the truth is this, your life will not change overnight. No single day, no burst of motivation, no one piece of content will transform you all at once. But one real decision, followed by small daily habits, can slowly turn you into a completely different person. So listen carefully. You don't need to change the whole world. You only need to decide where your attention will go. Because where attention goes,
energy follows. And where energy goes, growth happens. Focus on what matters. That one idea keeps reminding you that life is not inherently complicated. We make it complicated. We get tangled in everything. We listen to every voice. We accept every distraction. But the moment you begin choosing what to ignore, what to avoid, and what truly matters, your life begins to simplify. Now imagine a life where you wake up in the morning and already know what needs to be done. No confusion, no unnecessary stress. You do your work with full focus, and at the end of the day, you feel satisfied because you know you did the right work. That feeling is one of the greatest victories. If these ideas only sound good to you, they'll end here. But if they're stirring something deeper inside you, then start today. Start small, but start for real. Remove one distraction, complete one important task, clarify one decision.
That is enough. Because that is where transformation begins. And remember this, do not let this knowledge remain something you only hear. Apply it to your life. Do not approach it casually. Approach it as if you are shaping your future. Every page, every principle, every reminder points back to the same truth. You do not need to do everything. You only need to do what truly matters. Because knowledge may inspire you, but applied knowledge changes your life. And never forget this. The day you learn to control your focus is the day you begin to control your direction. And once your direction is under your control, no one will be able to stop you.